how do you think the federal government should handle illegal immigration?
Okay. Illegal immigration, we don't know exactly how many we have. Their numbers are fluctuating anything from 12 million to 20 million. So we first need to know how many illegal immigrants we have here. And the only way to do that is by documenting it. Documenting we just passed through, and I went through the 2010 census, right? Every distant American had to write down where they live and how many people in there. Why not with illegal immigrants to do the same thing? That would be my first question. I went through a much more intrusive questionnaire because I have been chosen to fill the community resources questionnaire, which was very, very intrusive. And I refused to answer some of the questions, and they called me up. And they insisted on they want to know how much you pay for your home insurance. They want to know how much you spend on heating. They want to know a lot of things that were very, very intrusive, and I didn't like it at all. And I had to fill it, otherwise I would be subjected to fines through my tax returns. So if I have to go through something like that, I don't see any reason why illegal immigrants shouldn't. So once we need to document everybody who is here illegally. Then I think that all those who have some criminal history in the past should be immediately deported. And the rest of them, give a certain period of time to Congress. After that we have, let's say, it's 15 million people. We know that we have 15 million people here. We need to give Congress a certain period of time to come up with a solution, a proper solution to what to do with this illegal immigrants problem.
What role do you believe the federal government should play in education?
As minimal as possible. I think that there is no, it's again going back to the question, the community resources questionnaire that I had to fill in for the federal government. I think that the federal government doesn't have any place in educating our children in one way or another. I think that it should be left to the parents who bring them up. This is another entitlement program, by the way, the public schooling system, which I'm completely opposed to. Going back to your other question about the entitlement programs, I really like to see where the flourishing of magnet schools and charter schools, which hopefully, I believe that competition brings the best out of anything in life. So education is part of it, and I don't know if you know, but America used to be in reading and math and science used to be comparing to the rest of the world for many, many years, the top notch. And now we are sitting somewhere in between 17, 18, and 19 all over the world when compared high school students. So there is something definitely wrong with our education system. Does it have an implication on our economy, like the question that we had before? Of course. Innovation is very important. America was always a leader in innovation and research, but when we don't have the basic education or the foundation for it, where kids are failing for one reason or another, or falling behind other countries, then we need to be concerned because that's the future. And America was able to lead up until now for that reason as well. That this is one component of why America was so was able to lead up until now in everything: economics, innovations, research, development, medicine, and so forth and so forth. And the basic education, we don't have that because there is no, we don't have competition, enough competition in the basic or the public education. In addition to it, also there are some other entitlement, not programs in there, but other entitlement special interest groups that prevent from competition to happen. And that should be addressed too, unions.
What is your stance on congressional term limits?
Oh, I would be very much in favor. I think that if the president is termed for 8 years max, I don't see any problem with myself also going for an 8 years or even less than that.
What constitutes an appropriate earmark request?
What constitutes a proper earmark request? When when the applicant has no conflict of interest with himself. When, for instance, when a legislator is asking for something which is literally has no benefits down the road, will not benefit that specific legislator down the road. I think that that's correct, and for the benefit of all too, of the people, of all the people in general, and not just a very small group of people, or small group of special interests, for instance, which happens all the time, and so forth and so forth. I am very discouraged with the application of crony capitalism, where government, whether big or small, is in bed with the big corporations, and this is where a lot of these earmarks are happening, and it should stop. It has to stop.
Would you vote for a bill that was very unpopular with your constituents?
It's a hypothetical question, but I think that I would like to say that probably if I would get elected, the people that will vote for me will be the majority, and they will vote for me for what I'm saying right here now. So I don't think that my decision will be different than their thinking. However, there is been thinking about it a lot, and through the whole debate about the healthcare reform, and the way legislator went back home last summer, and they were really being confronted by the voters. I've been thinking that if something like that will happen, like the healthcare reform, I would probably will form a certain kind of like private polling or allow my own constituents in my district for a kind of like internal vote to see what is the majority of the opinion concerning one item or another, and doing it more democratic, and allow the constituents to participate in the process rather being expected to lay backwards and let the legislators or their representatives take the initiatives and decide for them what's right and what's wrong. So let's say in the case of healthcare reform, as an example, if I was, for instance, to think that healthcare reform was something that the way it as is now, as it passed Congress, if I thought, which I don't, that was a good thing, then I would try my best to poll or somehow find a system to find out what the majority of the people in my district thinking, and vote according to their thinking and not according to mine.